Hello, musical families. My name is Nicole KOVAR. I am the founder and director of Piano and More, an in-home music lesson studio where we teach piano, voice, and guitar lessons using a fun-first and student-centered approach where we make happy musicians. I want to take you back to the beginning, 2016, when I first established Piano and More as a multi-teacher studio. And I want to share the reason that really persuaded me to take this leap. And the reason may surprise you. It actually wasn't anything to do with how successful I was as a personal teacher, and I didn't really have any dreams to grow the studio. In fact, I was already pretty satisfied with my success. I had a fully booked studio, and I had a really long waiting list. So I felt like I was good to go. But it was the parents on the waiting list that told me otherwise. And there were very specific segments of my waiting list that would reach out every couple of weeks and ask, like, hey, do you have any openings yet? Okay, just let us know when you do. And this would happen every couple of months. And the two segments were, one, you were friends of somebody that was already in my studio and you wanted to join the community, or two, you were already enrolled in a music program. And not only were they persistent, but they actually started solving my problem of having a waiting list. I had a mom call me one day and she told me, I know you're fully booked in the afternoons, but would you consider opening up your mornings and teaching lessons before school? And she had already kind of figured a plan out for me. She was like, I know that there's two other families in the neighborhood that live close by that want to have lessons with you as well. And so what we can do is you can start at 6 a.m. in the morning and you can have 4 students back to back and you can teach them all in my home. And so there I was teaching piano lessons at 6 a.m. in the morning with elementary age students. And we did this for years. And when the demand is so high that your future clients are literally solving your problems for you, that really makes you stop and think. And I realized, you know what? I do have a unique teaching philosophy here. These parents, they really do value music education. They just didn't like the way it was being taught. They didn't think it was effective for their kids. People were going out of their way to get access to this approach because they saw that it was working for their friends' kids. To date, we've taught hundreds of students in the Northern Virginia area, and we've trained and hired over 50 teachers. We are making a significant positive impact in students' lives, and it's such an honor to be here and share a story like this. So today, I want to share 4 top things that we hear from families that have switched from other music programs to ours. So let's dive in and see what they have to say. The first thing we hear from families after switching from other music programs to ours is, we wish we'd had you sooner. There's not a lot of good in-home lesson providers that are both really good at what they do and available. So if you're taking music lessons, most likely you have to go to a location and learn at a music school. And for families who are typically driving their kids from activity to activity and after-school traffic, not only doing that, but also trying to squeeze in dinner and homework, they're pretty pressed for time. So when parents are able to finally switch to in-home lessons, they get about 1 to 2 hours back every week. And that's a game changer for them. Every year, we do a survey where parents can anonymously submit their evaluation of our teachers and our studio. And one of the questions we ask them is, what is the most valuable thing of our music program? And every single year, without fail, parents always mark number 1, the convenience of in-home lessons. Now with in-home lessons, modern families are better equipped to commit to a weekly routine that supports their activities. The second most common thing that families tell us when they switch from another music program to ours is, we didn't know lessons could be this good. Obviously, we have a really good teaching philosophy that all of our teachers unite under at Piano and More. But we also recognize that we're in the private education business, which means this is a relationship service. And we need to pair our teaching philosophy with excellent teachers that know how to connect with both children and adults. I think a lot of music teachers still put too much focus on the music standards and not as much on the student. So there's really not a lot of flexibility in the repertoire and the lesson structure and the way things are implemented. It seems like everything has a rule attached to everything, and it's frankly discouraging for students where music is just not their entire world. Have you heard of the famous book called Big Panda and Tiny Dragon? It's written by James Norbury. The panda asked the tiny dragon, what's more important? Is it the journey or the destination? And most of us are expecting the dragon to answer the journey, because we know it's in the journey that's where you establish your values and your character. It's in the journey where you build some of the most valuable things in life, such as love, respect, and relationships. And these are the true prizes of life because you can't purchase them and you can't rush deliver them either. They can only be created within the journey. And if you're interested in how this relates to the music education journey, I go into more detail in the 3-month video. So if you're interested in that, please click on the screen here. You'll see the link where it will take you to that video. But essentially, back to my story, what did the dragon say? He actually doesn't say the journey. The dragon says the company. The company is what makes this journey better. It's the company that you have that makes the journey just so much more enjoyable. And the company is so powerful, they can really make or break that journey for you. And this is why we are so selective on who we hire. And in fact, if we can't find a teacher that meets all of our qualifications, we just won't grow. We will not hire them. We know that the teacher experience is what will ultimately determine whether your music education journey is going to be a great one or a poor one. Have an awesome teacher and the rest will follow. The third most common thing we hear from families that switch from other music programs to ours is there's a clear confidence boost in my child. We hear this pretty much across the board, but it really means even more to us when our experienced families that have been enrolled in other music programs tell us this. What does confidence look like? It's when your child just cannot wait for their music teacher to show up because they can't wait to show them all the progress that they've made from last week. It's when your student runs up to the recital stage to show off their song. It's when your child says, I want to play left hand now, or I want to speed up the tempo, because they feel more than ready to take on a new challenge. Confidence is when your child voluntarily signs up for their school's talent show after taking piano lessons for only 3 months because they cannot wait to show the new song that they've learned to their friends. All of these examples are currently happening and have happened with us at Piano and More. This is the result of a fun-first, student-centered teaching philosophy delivered by an excellent teacher. When you focus on building a student's strengths first and collecting a lot of wins, big or small, especially early on in the experience, that's a huge confidence booster for that student. And now they're going to feel a lot more equipped to take on the next challenge. And that's the secret to building a student's confidence. And the fourth most common thing we hear from families that have switched from other music programs to ours is, my child actually wants to practice now. Most parents are pretty surprised to see that their kids want to practice. And this is a pretty natural shift that happens when the lessons are positive, playful, and student-oriented. But what really boosts this is something unique that we do at Piano and More, and that is making sure that the journey has a lot of small wins very early on in the process. We incorporate ear training to help our students gain results fast. If we were to follow the traditional approach, where we only focus on notation, it would take years for you to learn your favorite song. And with ear training, you can actually start this almost immediately. And to be able to play a song that your friends love, that catches people's attention. That turns heads. And that is what gets our students hooked. They get the reward a lot faster, and they get to feel that experience a lot faster. They get to feel what it's like to be a musician. And having all this positive attention, who's going to want to push that away? It's really a great experience for a child. So having all these small wins really early on helps them get hooked to playing piano, to practicing their pieces or whatever instrument they're learning, and it helps them improve faster because they have a goal now. They can see themselves as a musician and they want to show off these skills to their friends. And so they practice. And that wraps it up. If you liked this video, be sure to go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. We have a lot more videos that go into more depth on our teaching philosophy, what you can expect on your very first lesson with us, versus student benefits after 3 months of lessons and after 1 year of lessons. So be sure to check that out. And if you live in Northern Virginia and you're interested in switching programs or maybe starting lessons in piano, guitar, or voice, this is your sign. Our trial lessons are still 50% off. Let us show you how electric being a musician can be using the right approach. Go ahead and fill out the contact form. The link will be in the description, and our lesson coordinator will reach out to you with available matches in your area. Have a good one, and let's keep the music going.